to Momentum in Real Estate, your guide to success in the dynamic world of real estate. I'm Cory Wolf.
And I'm Kristin James. Whether you're just starting out or a seasoned pro, we're here to help you reach new heights.
Success in real estate comes from learning, growing, and serving others.
Join us as we dive into strategies for lead generation, marketing, market trends, and client relationships.
Get ready to ignite your momentum and achieve your goals in real estate.
Let's dive in and unlock your full potential.
This is Momentum in Real Estate.
Barbara Van Dyke is no stranger to new adventures. Her journey has taken her from Philadelphia to Hawaii, but it's Texas that stole her heart. With a background in journalism, she has a knack for uncovering what truly matters to her clients, whether they're searching for a luxury home, a sprawling ranch, or prime commercial land. Her expertise in marketing and public relations ensures every property she represents stands out, and her strategic, creative approach to real estate delivers results that exceed expectations. But beyond the deals, Barbara's true passion is building lasting relationships. When she's not matching clients with their perfect properties, you'll find her hiking the Barton Creek Greenbelt, two-stepping at the Broken Spoke, or enjoying Austin's incredible food scene. Welcome to the podcast, Barbara.
Thank you so much. It's so great to be here, Cory and Kristin.
We are so excited to talk to you, and it sounds like we could go on so many different directions. But first, if you don't mind, start with your story about real estate. Like, how'd you end up here?
How did I end up here? Well, that's a great question. Actually, my story in real estate starts in Hawaii. And the reason I say that, so I moved back in, 2008. I was married to a different husband at the time, to be fair. And we had left Southern California and went over to property that we had already owned over in Hawaii on the Big Island in the Kailua Kona area. And it was, if you remember, '08 was the sort of big crash in all things real estate. We both lost jobs at that point. This was before I was an agent, but he was in the survey world. I was doing things in the PR world. And we both, just because of the economic downturn, we both lost jobs. So we went over there and we relocated. We settled over there. And at one point, I just had this massive meltdown, like, what am I supposed to do over here to make money? And I always tell this story. You'll find that I'm a little bit on the sarcastic side sometimes. So I like to tell it in a funny way. And I'm like, I realized pretty quickly that there were only two ways to make money over in Hawaii. One was bartending and one was real estate, and real estate was way better for my liver. So, but the truth is I would never have bartended, but that's okay. But the truth is that real estate is something that's always been near and dear to my heart in a lot of ways. And I just decided that was as good a time as any to get into real estate. So I got my license over there. And it was pretty slow. So I continued to do some PR work and things, and eventually hung my license with Sotheby's over there and got my real start over there. And in Hawaii, when you are working, I mean, it's a lot different. It's not a primary home market, and it's really much more of a second home or a vacation home market, right? So to survive, I kind of learned how to do all of it. I learned how to do land. I learned how to do some things in commercial. I learned how to do, obviously, residential and a lot of luxury residential. So you just kind of had to press in and do all the things in order to make a living at real estate over there, especially starting out.
So how many different markets have you done real estate in? Was your move from Hawaii then to Texas?
It was. So unfortunately, went through a divorce over there. Moved to the Austin market in 2013 and got relicensed I got my license in 14, but you have to start over. There's no reciprocity between Hawaii and any other state. Right. So start from scratch, and that's okay. And because the states are different. So the markets are different and the laws are different. You have to really learn.
Yeah, for sure. So give us just a little insight into your current market, Dripping Springs, Hill Country. Give us kind of a sense of the landscape there, what trends you're seeing kind of in this early 2025 timeframe.
Sure. Well, I think to set the stage, I would probably go back to where we were in the years leading up to the pandemic, right? Because we were on a very, so Dripping Springs, where I personally live, is a suburb of Austin. Okay, so I'm in the greater Austin and Central Hill Country
Mhm.
market. Austin experienced incredible growth, even prior to, I should say, the pandemic, right? We were on a really nice, healthy trajectory, more than just your average appreciation. If average is 2, 3, 4%, we were definitely doing substantially more than that over those years, all the way up through 2019. And then 2020 and the pandemic hit, and we just shot way up. I mean, our prices nearly doubled during the pandemic years. And then in about mid 22, when the feds raised rates, we sort of fell off a cliff. As okay, all of the everything really, I don't want to say it came to a screeching halt, but it certainly slowed down dramatically. There was a really distinct change in the market. And so for the last 2.5 years, our prices have come down in general. In some markets more than others, or we're a large market. One thing about Texas, everybody says everything's bigger in Texas. That's certainly true here because we are the Austin Metro proper consists of 5 counties. And when you add the Hill Country in, which is all the areas just to the west, it's even more counties than that. So we're a very large geographic area. And I think people always came here and always loved it. It's been a very popular area. Once you're here, there's also a lot of people that come from other markets like Houston or Dallas that enjoy the Hill Country. So the Hill Country, a lot of Texas is flat. The Hill Country, less flat. It's hilly, right? And there's a big draw. So we have lakes in the Hill Country that people are drawn to. So it's just a huge market. And now in 25, we're starting to see things pick up again. But where I serve is a lot of that Hill Country market, and things just take time. It's a ripple effect, right? They come out from Austin and continue to progress out to the Hill Country. I'm not sure if that actually answered your question, so maybe, but it's a
No,
big place.
it's great. And actually, there's a lot of similarities in our market as well. Like we're a big second home market as well. Technically Western North Carolina is made up of like 23 counties. So we don't serve all of them. We kind of have our hub and our radius, but it's certainly been expanding out from Asheville proper, which is the largest city in Western North Carolina. But yeah, it was interesting just hearing you share and how much we have in common in terms of our markets.
It was interesting. During the pandemic, we saw a lot of people moving. They wanted to be out of the more dense city areas and move further out. And so we saw this migration of people coming into Austin, but we also saw a migration outward to the suburban areas and outward even further to the Hill Country areas where people could have land. And that's been a big pattern here. And now people are coming back to office. So I don't know where that's going to continue, but ranches and land in the Hill Country, or once you get out to like Lake LBJ, that area, you start seeing people want them more for recreation, second homes on the water or ranch properties for recreation. That's a big part of the market as well that I serve.
So can you talk to us a little bit? You've been through quite a bit of transition in your market and coming into it like after 2008 and all of that stuff. What are key things you've done in your business as the market has shifted to help you through the ups and the downs?
I think it really comes back to the fundamentals. I have never been the agent who wanted to buy leads or cold call or door knock. That's just not who I am. I am a relationship builder. So I do things the old-fashioned way, and coming into a brand new market where I literally knew no one, had no connections whatsoever, it really, once I got my license, of course, I just started holding open houses. The key to holding open houses and converting people from open houses is follow-up. You call them back. You follow up. You put them into your marketing campaigns and things like that. So you start just continuing. You start and you continue with the relationships. Once I made a sale, then I would get referrals, and that is literally what built my business. So it's a continuation of staying in touch with your clients, always being front and center with them, not just being there for the transaction, but being there for everything they need and beyond. So people still call me, who do you recommend for this? I need somebody for that. I had a client who called me and they were looking at doing some major improvements on their property. And what do you think if we add a pool house down by the pool? And if we did this and turned it more into a casita? And what would that do? And I would run numbers for them and I would help them understand. And then I gave them contractor referrals, and then I gave them designer referrals and things like that. So it's really about staying in the flow with your client and providing them value beyond just that immediate transaction.
I love that. You've probably heard the ABCs of real estate. We talk about it as always be connecting. And that's our MO in line with kind of how we operate as well in our businesses. I'd love to talk a little bit about your background in marketing, communications, PR. Undoubtedly that has influenced your skills in real estate and your ability to market properties and really help your seller and your buyer clients. Can you share a little bit about kind of what you brought from that industry into the real estate industry?
Yes, I absolutely can, because I think it's key. And I think it's one of the key differentiators that I bring. I actually have a journalism degree and moved from journalism into the marketing and public relations, marketing communications world. And I'm going to, age myself a little bit, but I spent almost 25 years in that world before I got into real estate. And I've been into real estate for a while now. But the whole point is that in the marketing and the communications, you understand the importance of a brand. You understand the importance of selling or marketing a product. And when it comes to property, a lot of that is visual. That's how people buy. As soon as they decide, hey, I want to look for a house or a ranch or anything else, they're going to go online. And if you can't capture them in the first few seconds with the visuals, they're going to move on. And I always, you come across people who put product houses into the MLS with cell phone pictures. And I just want to go, oh, please fire that agent. You have to be able to market your property properly. So always using the highest quality photography, videography, aerial photography, which is critical, not only in ranch properties where you think big acreages. I often use it in subdivisions to show the amenities and other features that people want to know about, to show how close it is or how far away it is from different areas, whether that's like shopping in the area, or maybe it's its proximity to the lake or to a creek or something like that. You want to be able to show the area. So looking at that and then being able to write something compelling, you'll find that I don't really use AI for writing description a lot because I am a journalist. So I'm a writer, and I'd rather put my own. I think sometimes AI can come out with things that are a little too generic-y. So I like to put my own flavor into the marketing copy, but I think the marketing piece of it is super critical. And then I'm not one of those agents who believes that you can just put it into MLS and it will sell itself. I use a lot of other marketing, from digital advertising to email flyers to social media and print, sometimes print media, print brochures for sure, and then print advertising where necessary as well, especially for those unique properties. It can take a lot, and the understanding that, like, I've sold wineries. They're not your typical transaction. It's not your typical property. And there's certainly a much smaller target audience to purchase a winery than there would be to purchase even just raw land. So you have to be able to market those properly, and advertising is a key.
Well, I feel like a lot of us are realizing how much we are selling a lifestyle. Your house is where you're going to sip coffee on the porch and look outside, or you're going to go for a walk, or, all of those things. So, and I'm pretty sure you do this. So what are strategies that you use to kind of share that lifestyle in those types of campaigns and marketing strategies?
Sometimes it is as simple as the video or the photography that we use, but it really starts, to me, just like selling any product. Who's your target audience? Who are we trying to reach for this? If it is a multi-million-dollar luxury ranch with a beautiful custom home somewhere in the hill country, that is a very different target audience than even a beautiful high-end home in a subdivision. Okay? Very different audiences. So who do I target and how do I want to portray that? So I have to not only understand who the target audience is, meaning who's the most likely buyer for the product, then I have to look at how I reach them. So a lot of times you'll see video and it will encompass lifestyle shots. Maybe it's a ranch with a live creek running through it. Well, can I get a picture of, a grandfather fishing with his grandson or granddaughter? Can I get a picture with horses on the property to to highlight the equestrian nature of the property? Is it really just a picture that highlights the large dining space because that family that lives in that subdivision wants to have, it may not be the biggest house, but they still want space to have their family to gather for the holidays. Or maybe it's highlighting the amenity because they want to see themselves and the kids all hanging out at the pool on the weekend. So I try to understand what does that person want to see based on who they are.
I love that. Yeah, that's a real kind of evolution in your skill of being a realtor. There's stages that you move through. I'd love to hear what you might have to share with, maybe a newer agent who's just kind of getting their career started, but is interested in either the luxury market or land sales, something kind of outside of your bread and butter residential property. Do you have some counsel? I'm thinking of the agent who doesn't have a lot of financial margin, enough to kind of get their career off the ground, but sometimes differentiating can cost money. What advice would you give to that kind of agent?
Partner up with an agent. And I do this for people all the time. The agents come to me a lot of times and want to partner because they really don't have any experience. Maybe it's land sales, and there's so much to selling a piece of land, whether that's land for development, which I've done sometimes, or just a piece of ranch land, doesn't matter. Partner with somebody who has that experience. If you have, a client and they want to purchase, you may think, oh gosh, I really want to make that sale happen and I really want that commission. But you can get yourself into a world of trouble if you don't know what the hallmarks are of a land sale and the things that you need to look out for. Everything from private roads, road maintenance agreements, wells, septic systems, water rights, pipeline easements. We are in Texas. We have a lot of oil and gas pipelines, oil and gas leases or mineral leases. There are so many excess acreage. I could go on. There's about 20 or 50 to 50 things I can think of off the top of my head that talk about, all these areas that you need to know. If you've never experienced that, ask somebody who is. Yes, you might give up a portion of your commission, but you will keep yourself out of court. Okay? Because this is a huge deal. Have the integrity to ask someone to partner with you and help you with that sale. After you've done a few of them, Texas requires 3 sales, any new area that you haven't served. So if I'm walking into a geographic area that I'm completely unfamiliar with, if I'm walking into a type of sale that I've never done, whether I'm the listing agent or the buyer's agent, does not matter. Anything like that, a category that you've never worked in, like commercial, Texas law requires us as agents to partner with someone or have counsel of someone for the first 3 transactions. So that's really important. But even if your state law doesn't require that, it's wise because you want to do the best job representing your client and you don't want to fall into any of the traps because you just didn't know any better. Partner.
That is great advice. Can you hear me okay?
I can.
Okay, fantastic. So can you share with us like your big goals? Where do you see yourself in real estate in the next 5 to 10 years? And what legacy do you hope to leave in the real estate industry?
Well, great question. I hope to be, retired before 10 years is out because I'm already in my 60s and I don't want to do this forever.
There is no
Um,
way you are not in your 60s. I don't believe it.
Oh, but I am. So I have two grandsons. They're 11 and 12. Does that tell you anything? My kids are probably both older than you guys. So I'm just saying. But no, at the end of the day, I think for me to have a role in mentoring other agents would be huge. Coaching and mentoring for me is part of that legacy that I want to leave. And when I talked about partnering with another agent, when you don't know something, I love that role. I love to partner with agents and help them understand the different things so that they can grow in those areas. And that's especially true in areas like farm and ranch or land sales, where there's more men, I would say, in general. Land and ranch sales tends to skew more male. And I think that there's a real opportunity for women to continue to grow in that area and take a more pivotal role in the land and ranch side.
I love that. And that I think really resonates with our heart and our spirit as we were on the earlier side of our careers, but we have seen the value. We've been recipients of some really great coaching and mentoring, and that's what we want to do for other agents. And so we have found some outlets to do that. And like you said, it's so rewarding and part of a legacy that we hope to build in our careers as well.
I think that's really critical for the industry because people especially saw this during COVID. People flocked into the industry because they thought it was a great, really easy way to make money.
Mm-hmm.
And as we all know, it may look like that on the surface, especially if you just watch Selling Sunset or some ridiculous show. You think, oh my gosh, that's so easy. But you don't understand the complexity of the transactions. Coming into it, you don't understand necessarily all of the financial aspects of it. I mean, I take it so seriously that I'm actually helping someone buy probably the most expensive investment they will ever make in their lifetime, whether that's just a single family home or a second home or a ranch or even a commercial development property. They're investing in something that has a lot of financial weight behind it, right? And you shouldn't take that lightly. Our fiduciary responsibility as agents is so important that I think it bothers me, and don't let me get off into this rabbit hole, but I think the barrier to entry in this industry is so low, and that's wrong. It's not that low for a financial advisor. It's not that
Agreed.
low for a tax
Yes.
or a stockbroker.
Yeah.
Why is it that it's so low in our industry when it has such gravitas from a financial?
Yeah. No, one thing I love about just like the opportunity that Cory and I have had with this podcast is just to engage with true professionals, people who are raising the bar in the industry and see it as way bigger than just a money-making opportunity. I mean, you can go make money doing hundreds of things, but when it starts from a place of service and adding value, and it's just a whole mindset shift. But we've engaged with people like you who are true professionals who understand the importance and the weight of the privilege that we have to help our clients. So
it's key. I think if it were just for the money, sometimes you look at all the hours that we put in that are unpaid and you think, would I be making more money as a barista somewhere?
I could work like a 4-hour shift,
But at the end of the day, this is really rewarding because I feel like I'm helping people literally move to whatever the next chapter of their life is, and that's key to me. And it's super rewarding.
It's the biggest responsibility I feel like we have. And it's so honoring when someone chooses you, right? To do exactly that. Well, as we wrap up here, can you share it with us, give us your best advice for an agent either entering into being a new real estate agent for their career or even someone who's tenured?
To me, it's about the relationship. I'll go back to the value add. Kristin, you mentioned earlier that sometimes it's hard, financially to set yourself apart, but a phone call doesn't cost you any money. a note card costs you maybe $1 and a stamp. I'm a big believer, okay, whether you follow a particular system like Ninja or the Buffini system or something else, the value that we have is to maintain those relationships, stay in flow, stay in touch with your people, because that is a lot easier to build your business and you'll get those referrals. And I feel like you could throw money into buying leads. You can spend all your time knocking on doors, but what does that give you? It doesn't really give you a business. The return on that investment is really low. Pour your time and your effort and your money into building relationships, adding value, and educating yourself on how to be the best possible agent that you can be. Take all the classes, learn your stuff, be of service. You're going to stand out from the competition just by all of the referrals that you get.
I love that. That's a great note to end on, Barbara. And we're just super grateful for your time this morning. And this has just been really enriching. And yeah, thank you so much for
Thank you
giving
so much for
a
having
bit of
me.
your
It's a real
time.
privilege. It's been a lot of fun talking to you ladies. And, I just enjoy it. And I wish you all the best with the ongoing podcast.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We'll talk to you
Thank you,
soon. We gotta
ladies.
stay connected.
Oh, absolutely.
Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Momentum in Real Estate. We hope you found valuable insights and strategies to propel your real estate journey forward.
If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to subscribe to our podcast and leave us a review. Your feedback helps us continue to deliver content that resonates with you. Remember, success in real estate is about continuous learning, growth, and serving others. Keep that momentum going and watch your business thrive.
Until next time, keep pushing forward and bringing your real estate dreams to life.
This is Cory Wall
and Kristin James signing off from Momentum in Real Estate.